is it somebody else's voice?
No, it's Mr. Pickles, and we're live.
Hey, Mr. Pickles, and we're live, but I'm wearing a hat, so it looks like Mr. Pickles is like some sort of drug addict. Really, really bad bags under his eyes and stuff. You know what I mean, right, Dean?
I do. It's nothing different that we haven't seen, right?
Wow. So
you got an angle
for the folks, huh?
You have an angle for us, huh?
Yeah, I have an angle for the show, but I'm going to wait till we actually have some people here, as opposed to just giving it away and whatnot. So let's start the show. That's right. Let's start with just a calm. What's up, Anna? Let's start with just a nice, calm. Hey, Dean, what have you been up to lately?
Jim, glad you asked. Been writing lots of sales copy. ClickFunnels is just growing in leaps and bounds, so very busy there. Life is grand. And what else? Is there anything in particular special you want to know? Because I'm happy to share. I'm an open book.
No, I'm doing great. Thank you for asking, Anna. Dean has not asked me how I'm doing. He's very impolite in this way, but that's okay.
Here's why. Because
we're used to it.
Jim and Mr. Pickles started off this conversation, and there was no period on the sentence, and I didn't want to be rude and interrupt.
What's up, Braden? He says hi, Jim. He also said hi, Dean. He's
being
Braden. Polite. He's just saying hi to me.
He is. That's right.
So interestingly enough, Dean, I do have something I want to talk about. I have an interesting angle for it today. All right. I too have been writing a significant amount of sales copy recently, though for my own business, not for other people's businesses. That's why I love hanging out with you, because we have two different perspectives, and it makes what we do extra better than what most people do. So what I want to talk about has absolutely nothing to do with that. And I'm at a quandary, but I'm also learning something at the moment. We're in between shows right now. Do you know what I mean by that? We just finished a series on Netflix. My bride and I enjoy watching a good show in the evening. And I would much rather watch something that has like 12 seasons than one season, because about the time you get into it, then it's over. So you're familiar with Breaking Bad,
yes,
as we are. I finished that years ago, but for whatever reason did not get started on Better Call Saul. All right, a spinoff, as they say. Have you watched all 4 seasons of that?
With Bob Odenkirk? No, I have not.
Okay, well, then this will be even better for you, because I'm going to teach you a little lesson here. All right, so what they do, I was hoping you'd seen it, but what they do without giving it away is they start the very first episode in the future. So you know how most narratives are driven, and I have a point with this, so stick with me. Most narratives are driven from beginning to end. However, in some literature, it's called beginning with a point of high drama. So in this particular case, they begin with him at some point in the future. You just don't know how far in the future. If it's in the future, whether it's in the past, it's not in the past. It's in the future at some point. You just don't know how far in the future. So I thought to myself, this has a really, really cogent, apropos, dare I say, point with sales copy. And that being, let's say you're writing a sales letter, Dean. And it's a long form sales letter, as we do. So this is an interesting technique that you don't see a whole lot of people use, but it works really well. And that is, you've all heard hook, story, offer. Okay, so your offer is somewhere down here. All right. But one way to hook people in literature or in fiction or something is to begin at a point of high drama. So you can also, in a sales letter, begin in the middle or even begin at the end. So, for example, if you were going to tell a story of, I don't know, start the story out with a hook like, I stood on stage and marveled at the crowd in front of me, 5,000 people standing up in one and cheering and clapping and going nuts. All of them eager to buy a product from me, even though I was contractually prohibited from selling. And it was the greatest moment I'd ever had on stage. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me start at the beginning. That technique of doing it like that, I think, is so underutilized in copy anymore, because I think people have gotten kind of the microwave mentality with copy instead of, like, oh, people don't read that stuff anymore. They don't pay attention. That's not true. People will pay attention, especially if you've got a great story. And that's a great way to start a story, is to not start at the beginning like most people do, but start at a point of high drama, start at a point of high excitement, engagement, really pull people in, and then say, but I'm getting ahead of myself. I love sayings like that, but don't just take my word for it, Dean. Take a look at this.
By the way, Jim.
By the way, at this point, you might be,
yeah.
What would the next thinking or wondering? And you'd be right. Let me address this. I mean, I just love that, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's start at the beginning. I just love that. Randall says that was Godfather 2. I need to go back and rewatch that. Oh my God, Dean. We watched a movie this past weekend with Robin Williams. Oh. Do you remember the movie Jack? Where he was a kid that he played a child that aged 4 times faster than normal. So he was like Robin Williams. Dude, it's on Disney Plus. You have to watch it.
Okay.
You will laugh, you will cry, you will be inspired. It's amazing. Absolutely, absolutely amazing. You've got to watch that. So this also, okay, before I talk about the next thing I wanted to talk about, what is your reaction to this? Anything to add as far as like where you start a story? Any other thoughts on where you could actually start a story?
A couple of things I will say, and I think I've talked about this before. What you just described is how I helped me get the gig at ClickFunnels in writing a lead for a sales letter, because I started in the middle of high drama and high level anticipation. So, and that was the whole lead. I didn't have to go any further. It was just all high drama, and it wasn't starting at the beginning. It was in the middle of something. And that was one of the things that that caught their attention. So it works really great. And an example like Godfather 2. I mean, Quentin Tarantino, Pulp Fiction, the way that started. High drama. It starts off in the diner, I'm going to execute every one of you. Beep, 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 beep. You're going, where am I? What's going on? Why is this happening? Right. But you're totally captivated and engaged and drawn into the story.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So, the fun thing is different kinds, and this is why studying copy and stuff. But the great way, there's so many cool one-line quickie hooks you can use for this kind of thing. Like, I couldn't believe it was me. I couldn't believe this was actually happening. It was amazing. I remember the best lead the most daring lead I ever used in a sales letter was, it's enough to make you want to puke. That was great. And that sales letter converted gangbusters. So this is really important though. If you're going to do that, you got to have an amazing hook, like one sentence or just real quickie thing that just grabs people instantly to start an opener. I guess you would call that an opener. It's not a hook,
Yeah.
but it's an opener for the story.
Right.
So go
And
ahead.
Randall here says, gives a movie Gladiator, one of my favorite, Shawshank Redemption and Gladiator. They're
Yeah.
up there in the top 3. You're going where he's in that field, right? He's walking through a field of wheat or barley, whatever it is, and his hands are just, you're going, where is he? And then it stops, and then you're in the middle of the war with the barbarians, right? The beginning of that war.
Yeah. So, and like I said, I've been writing a lot of copy, and some of it like full length sales letter stuff, because we're testing, like broad stripe, different angles of stuff.
Mhm.
So I just did one. I just did a full on sales letter in between everything else. And here's the thing. Some of you, real quickly, how many of you in the comments, how many of you, if you think about writing a sales letter, it's enough to make you want to puke? Even with funnel scripts, even with all the tools and everything, sitting down to create that big sales letter, that big long sales letter, that email sequence and series, it fills you with dread, and you are thinking to yourself, oh my God, it's on you. It's been on your to-do list forever. And you're always avoiding it. So Randall's like me, Anna's like me. Happens to me too. I know it happens to Dean, not as much because he's just got so much momentum, but still, Sean says, so what is this about today? It's about Jim and Dean talking about copy as men do, and with the occasional pickle involved. So we're talking about stuff. We've been talking about stories and leads and story openers and all kinds of stuff. We've given you about $10,000 worth of value already. Now I'm trying to help you with mental roadblocks. Okay. So here's a reminder, a refresher, and this is as much to me as anybody else. How I always come back to rediscover what gets me to do stuff, okay, is to stop thinking of it as writing a sales letter and start thinking about it as a pile of building blocks. Because as soon as I do that, it's as long as my to-do list has write 7-day ebook challenge sales letter, that stuff's never getting done. It's just not going to get done, okay? But as soon as I divide it up into, okay, write the hook, work on the VSL, all right, get the VSL done, get the opening story done, do the offer stack, do all the, by then it's done. I don't even know what the hell to call the rest of it. It's like, work on my proof, work on the final, and by then it's just, okay, I'm just going to get it done. But as long as the to-do list says, write sales letter, it ain't ever getting done. Even with all the scripts and everything else, okay? But as soon as I divide it up like this, and then I get my momentum going. As soon as you get the momentum, that's all you need, is to get the momentum. So as soon as the hook's done, VSL, app, story's good. All right. Let me just get it done. So that was the other thing that I wanted to run by you, Dean. You ask, how are things going? What are you working on? It's in some ways it's the same old thing, and we got to learn the same lessons over and over and over and over and over and over and over. And the other lesson that you got to learn, I'm just going to throw something out. I'm on fire. When you're looking at copy and stuff, here's the number one question you got to ask. I'm just all over the place today, Dean. You know why? Because I had a Twinkie latte. I poop you not. I had a Twinkie latte. All right. Oh my God. It's it's scary.
My teeth are screaming just hearing that.
My teeth were vibrating. All right. I'm going to go brush my whole body. I didn't take a day to brush my teeth. I got to go brush my whole body. But the other thing that I keep relearning, when people, especially when people approach me like, hey, what do you think of this? Or how can we make this better? It's always ask the question with copy of, is it working already? Is it already getting results? Because sometimes people want to throw out the baby with the bathwater and everything. But if something's already working, always ask, is it working already? Okay, what do you want to talk about now, Dean? I've opened up like 3 different threads from fiction to stories to is it working already to building blocks and everything else. What would you like to talk about today, Dean?
Well, there was so much good stuff in there. And when you look at it, if you're looking at a long sales letter and thinking, oh my God, I got to write 20 or 25 pages of stuff to sell my goods, my wares, my services,
my widget,
what you do is you help people let's talk about the building blocks by chunking it down. And it's no different. I'm sure this is the same principle you teach in your ebook course, right? Because we get overwhelmed. I can't think the word, the number 1 million is like people have no concept. I'll never make $1 million from a single funnel. But if you say, okay, how about if I just let's start by making $100. Let's start by making $10 first. The mind it's something tangible for the mind. Because if you haven't done it before, going from 0 to 100 is just, it's overload. Your brain explodes and you get this twisting feeling in your gut. So you have to trick yourself into thinking that, hey, I'll just do a piece at a time. So for somebody who's writing a book, let's say, okay, look, they're thinking, I wrote a whole book. I can't even write a chapter. Write a paragraph.
No. Don't even do that. It's simpler than that. You want to know
Let somebody else write it for you. Talk it out, record it, transcribe it. I mean, there's all kinds of methods.
No. Got to know the title of the book before you start writing it.
Okay. I'm giving you
No, dude, I'm serious. All right. And what comes before the title? The who. And that's also the number 1 step to getting your copy done. It's always sitting down and either defining your avatar or getting back in touch with your avatar. That's the other thing. What we're talking about here with writing a sales letter, that's the other thing, is when you know who the avatar is really, really well, this stuff starts to flow because you don't feel like you're writing copy in a vacuum.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely. I mean, we talk about that all the time. We always start with who's your customer? Who are you writing for? Who do you want to bring into your fold? Whose attention do you want to grab?
Right. Absolutely. So who, and then if we're talking about the book, who's your who? What's the title of your book? What's the purpose of creating your book? Got to know that before you start to write. And then once you understand the purpose, then you choose your strategy, and then you do it. But most people just sit down and start, I got to sit down and start writing a book. I got to start banging away, and that's why it sucks. But if you do this, it creates a slippery slide so that your Dean, oh my God, that's like the worst stick figure ever. But look, I really didn't draw it that way on purpose, but luckily I can fix it. But it'll live on in the replay, I can tell you that.
All right, look at that. You got my weight right too.
And your hair.
Yeah.
So anyway.
It's like, like with anything, especially when it comes to copy, all the great copywriters will tell you writing copy is 80%, 85% research.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
And what is that research? It's who's your avatar?
Right.
What are you going to write about? What's that hook or headline or title that you can wrap everything around? Because that's the anchor. Everything leads from that.
And what's the offer that's gonna, what do they want? What do they need? What are their problems and all that stuff, so that you can craft the offer to meet as many of those as possible.
What are they getting?
Yep. So, I mean, I've carried us for the first 22 minutes, Dean. What do
always
you got?
Jim. You always do.
As a quick side,
I
as we
am
segue,
the monkey on your back.
nah, you're not the Marlboro man. So, just as a quick aside, just to give everybody a heads up, we sent out some invitations to our Copywriters Inner Circle to a few people today. We're giving special customers a jump on that. And then you want to keep your eye out Monday for the big announcement for Jim and Dean's Copywriters Inner Circle. This is going to be a life-changing experience. We'll be able to spend one-on-one time with Dean and myself working on your copy, as well as group groups, as they say, group masterminds. And then we're going to have not one, not two, but three live events, two of which will be virtual, one of which will most likely be in a very fun location. So you want to keep your eye out for that. We're only going to take, what we say, 15 people?
20?
15, 20 people? 20 people. So it's not going to be very big. So anyway, what do you want to talk about copy as men do? Anything about building blocks or stories or titles?
I had a talk today with a friend of mine who's a really great at sales. He's really great at sales, and this was about his own product. And we were talking about he's got something that's very cool, but it could, if you looked at it, it's in the e-com space, so it could be considered a commodity.
Mm-hmm.
And we talked about first, it started at, all right, you never ever want to be seen as a commodity.
Mm-hmm.
And most product creators do what's called an improvement offer. Mine's better.
Right.
Mine's faster. Mine's more efficient. Mine's bigger. That's what's called an improvement offer. And that's what saturates a market. So you have to spend a lot more work and a lot more marketing dollars to get noticed when you're a commodity, when you've created an improvement offer. And this is all of this ties back to what you just talked about. Everything you just talked about, your who and your title. How is it unique? How is it special? How is it different? How is this a new opportunity for your audience so that it shines like a diamond and a bright beacon in the night where everything else around you are little matches, right? They've got lighters. Sure. You don't want to be a lighter.
Now, is a new opportunity an improvement offer, or is that different?
A new opportunity is not an improvement offer.
New opportunity. You said new opportunity in there, so that's what I just wanted to.
Oh no, you want it to be. I'm sorry, you want it to be unique. You want it to be a new opportunity. You want it to shine like a beacon. You do not want to be the improvement offer, which is better, faster, easier.
So, what's the difference between there's an improvement offer and what's the other type of offer?
A new opportunity.
Okay, that's what I was looking for. As opposed to a woo opportunity. Okay, so a new opportunity is truly new. It's
it's unique.
It's a beacon. It's unique. Okay.
It's something that makes you pause and say, "Huh, what is that?"
Right.
It's something that would create curiosity, intrigue, mystique.
Right. So somebody to say, wait, what? That's what you want. That reaction of wait, what? As opposed to, should I stop paying for this and start paying for that? So an improvement offer, example of an improvement offer would be GoToWebinar and then Zoom comes along. So Zoom is an improvement offer, but it's not a new vehicle. Or over here, a new opportunity would be like funnel scripts or Fill My Webinar scripts, where it's not just another info product. It's not just another blueprint thing, but it's actually software that you fill out that gives you the result that you're looking for.
Right. Because when you hear Fill My Webinar scripts, it's very specific and it's like, wow, And it's all benefit and promise driven.
Right.
I get a result from that.
Exactly. Oh,
A huge
wow.
result.
So, but that also is, I mean, you get a big result, huge result from a new opportunity, but you also are promised a big result from
Sure you are.
this. But it's still, people are still evaluating mostly on price. I mean, ultimately, it's like, hey, this is GoToWebinar. I'm grandfathered at $9.99 a year. Have been since 2007. I've been paying them since 2007 because they didn't raise the price on me. But Zoom, if you want, the different levels and everything with Zoom, I'm not even talking about functionality or anything. I'm totally in the weeds on price. That's a commodity.
Yeah. Think of going to Amazon. I need a pair of headphones.
Oh yeah,
I need
I
a
do
pair
that
of
all the time.
headphones. And
Right.
you're an e-com site like Amazon is, okay, you're going to have stuff, they're all competing on price. And as Dan Kennedy says, when you compete on price, it's a race to the bottom and nobody's going to beat Walmart or Amazon. You're not.
Yep. It's a race to the bottom. Absolutely. So, whereas with a new opportunity, there's nothing to compare it to.
No.
So that makes it easy as a copywriter to then say, okay, what is this big result worth to you? What is it worth to you to be able to not have to pay somebody to write your sales copy for you? What is it worth to you to not have to pay somebody to write your landing page for your webinar? What is it worth to you? Well, I can tell you that a good copywriter charges $300 an email. So the fact that Phil My Webinar Scripts writes not one, not two, but 3 different complete sequences with a total of how many emails in each sequence?
33.
33. So 99 emails, 99 times $300 is like $29,700. Check me on my math. But that's an insane value. And we're not going to charge you $27,000 that a copywriter would do this one time for you, which, by the way, when you have these scripts, you can do it for as many webinars as you want. We're not even going to charge you 15 grand. Heck, we're not going to charge you 10. We won't charge you 5. In fact, we'll only charge you $997. And that doesn't include all of the sales letters, all the training, all the everything else that you get, plus the bonuses and the maps and all the other stuff. It's insane. And it's like, wow. So the comparison is to the big result, not to, well, hey, I can get something that looks like, smells like, and does like yours for $50 cheaper. So can I get $50 off?
Yeah.
Yeah, jerks.
It's the difference between, do you want to be a Timex watch or you want to be a Tagore or a Rolex? Because there's no competition. When people want something, they want to. I
don't want to be a watch. I don't want to be a watch. I don't want to be a Rolex. I don't want to be a Tag Heuer or however the heck you say. I don't want to be a Timex. I want to be this cool little pedestal thing that you put in the middle of your desk, and it beams the time into the air like something on Star Wars. That's what I want. It's still telling time, but it's a whole new opportunity for telling time. You know what I mean?
Sure.
That's when we're talking about Rolex versus Timex or anything like that. We're talking about more of a status thing. It's not a new opportunity. It's a status. There's different motivations in there, but it's still a commodity thing.
Well, actually,
or apples to apples. It's not commodity, but it's still, do I do the Tag Heuer? Do I do the thing?
You've created with the watch. You've created, the thing about the Tagore, and it's a different opportunity. To us, it's not new anymore if we're talking, but what it does is it takes you out of the red ocean and puts you into a blue ocean. Now, over the years, yes, Rolex, Tag Heuer, Chanel, whatever, there's all these lines of high-end watches, but through positioning and framing, they've taken themselves out of the commoditization. There is more competition, granted, with that. what we're talking about right now is a new opportunity. How do you make a new fitness product? How do you do what's the next keto, right? Diet. What's it going to be? Well, how creative are you? With being honest, you don't want to lie, but what works? What kind of proof do you have? Because look, keto's been around for a few years now. It's got, how can you lose those 5 pounds and feel great and build up your immunity and do all of these wonderful things that we haven't heard before?
The meth diet. Medically enhanced total health diet. What'd you think I meant? Medically enhanced total health diet. Matt.
Is that what you do?
Yeah, that's like super hot internet training. You know? Is this what I do? No, I need Halloween to be over so I can get the dang candy out of my house.
Candy corn.
Oh my God, Snickers and Swedish fish.
Yeah.
And
oh yeah,
Reese's
Swedish
Pieces. Fish. Oh my gosh.
I'm a licorice guy. So as a kid, Good and Plenty. I loved Good and Plenty.
Yeah, Twizzlers are awesome too. Black licorice is awesome.
There's no such thing as red licorice. That's not even licorice. There's only black licorice. Everything else is flavored leather.
Have you tried All Sorts? British All Sorts?
Oh yeah, I love All Sorts.
I love those too, man.
Yeah,
they're good stuff.
Yeah.
But you know, it's interesting that Julio says the new opportunity is like bulletproof coffee to lose weight, butter and coconut oil in your coffee.
That's true.
Because that's got an easy button appeal to it too. It's
David
something
Asprey
different you never heard of.
Yeah.
Right. But it's got an element of an easy button in it too. It's not hard to do. I'm going to drink coffee, which I do already, and I'm going to put butter in it. Okay. I mean, I'm not sure how that's going to help me out, but sure, I'll give it a try. You know, it sounds crazy enough for work. Stranger things have happened. As opposed to the meth diet, which I think that would have some marketing issues. No, I'm with you, but okay. But here's the other thing that I've noticed. You know, things, and this goes with what you just said, things are fleeting. You know, I own 2 Rolexes. Never wear them. Always thought my life would be different if I had a Rolex. So I got a Rolex and I'm like, I want the one like Kiefer Sutherland wore in 24. All right. I've worn it maybe 10 times. Maybe. It just, I always thought having a Rolls Royce would be cool. It's sitting in the garage. I haven't driven it in a year and a half. It's like those things don't make you happy. That's totally off topic. But all we were talking about this, I'm just thinking all these things that people sell and want and all that stuff, they ain't gonna make you happy. That's totally aside. But we're just talking about copy as two men do, as men do.
However, there is a time. I mean, this is why you sell, right?
Yeah.
Now you're talking about the things that you just mentioned is a very neglected market, which is the affluent.
Yeah.
People are afraid to charge more for their products or their services, thinking that, oh, there's not an audience for them. There's a massive audience for the affluent.
Yeah.
Huge. They are underserved. They are the people who are now AARP members.
Uh-huh.
And then you've got the nouveau riche, you know, the Wall Street financiers or the Silicon Valley
billionaires,
Silicon Valley millionaires and billionaires.
Let's take that back to your million thing. All right. I'm going to show you the hardest way to make $1 million. And I've done it multiple times. The hardest way to make $1 million is to try to sell a $29 product.
How many times? 30. That's like 3,300 times.
Yeah, I'm trying to get what I did with my phone. Terry calls these shorts my purse. So we're going to do the math. All right. Somebody else do the math.
I think it's 3,300 times you got to sell $29 worth.
34,483.
Oh, I was off by a factor of 10.
That's a lot.
It sure is.
All right. 34,483 people. That's a lot of people to do your $1 million. All right. That's why I was so pissed when 10 years after I started selling that, because I was selling a lot when I discovered one-time offers. I was pissed.
You know what this reminds me of? Or go ahead.
Now let's okay, so a $97 product.
I'll go up to a factor of 10. Just
Stop.
let's do factors of 10.
No, because everybody's thinking 97, 29. I gotta do it with real stuff, okay?
All right.
So that's
10,000.
10,309. And let me tell you, those 309 are tough because those are the first 309. Once you figure out how to sell the 309 or the 483, the 10 grand or the 34,000 comes easier. All right, because the hardest one's the one, and I see an odd number over here. I ain't selling over here. I'm selling over here. You see what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying.
So you're like, okay, let's go up to $497. Now, and these numbers shouldn't scare you as much because right now we're undergoing some major inflation. So 497 is the new 29 as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. So now you gotta sell like 2,300.
Stop trying to guess. You don't know. No. See, now you're overshooting again, Dean. You're overachieving. That's 2000.
I said that 2,300.
2012. Holy crap. Now you're going 300. It's hard enough to do that.
I'm doing this like basic in my head.
I know. I can tell.
Okay.
You want to handle the money. Come on. All right. So now let's take it up to 1997. How many are you going to need, Dean? About 500.
By 4, about 500. Yeah.
Okay. You're good, man. You're good. Nothing gets by you.
503.
I can't. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. There's a point here. 1997. What? Sorry, I hit the wrong thing. Divided by 1997. That's 500.75. So call it 501. All right. Is it easier to make 500 sales or 34,000 sales? I'm asking y'all in the comments. Is it easier to make 500 sales or 34,000 sales? Which one's easier? Seriously, which one's easier? I want to know in the comments. Which one of those is easier? Anna says 500. Anna's the only one paying attention. Julio, 500. All right. Dean, which one's easier?
I would divide it again. Let's increase the price and get fewer people, because the less people, the easier.
25,000. How many you need? I think it's 40.
40.
Yep, it's 40. Now, this is not an income claim, and your results may vary. Some of you have to work on your belief because all of you can believe that you can put out something that has $29 worth of value to somebody. But where we start having a problem is when you believe that you have something that's worth $25,000 to somebody. And this, the difference between this and this is all mental. From the standpoint of you believing that you can operate at that level and then creating an offer that is worth that to them. So it's all mental. It's all communication. It's all sales copy. Internal sales copy, selling yourself on this level of value. So what really this is this is a scale of your self-esteem. I know that sounds harsh, but it's true. This is a scale of your self-esteem. Yes, it's also a business model. Yes, you can have one-time offers. I've done it, folks. Okay, I understand all that stuff. But ultimately, what you're charging, even if you've got, $29 and then a $97 and then $197, my average order value is blah, 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 blah. Nobody cares. The point is, it's all mental. It's, do you believe that you can provide this value? Can you create an offer that they're going to believe? And then, of course, we're assuming that you're going to deliver. But it's all about sales copy. It's all about messaging. It's all about internal, external. But this really, and this is something that I had to learn. All right. So, man, we really talk about some interesting stuff, and I feel sorry for the people that aren't here and those that want us to stick to some agenda, Dean.
What agenda? What?
There you go.
Steve Martin used to do this joke when he was doing stand-up.
Mm-hmm.
And he was doing it at the, I was thinking, I'm a pretty big guy right now, and I was thinking of I was wanting to do a concert. So I was crunching some numbers, and I thinking I could do a 10,000 seat arena at $10 a ticket, or I can do I could do a 5,000 seat arena at $1,000 a ticket, or I could do a 1-seat arena at $10 million. And that's what I'm shooting for. One show, goodbye.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, that's worth a note, though. Okay, let's take this one more level. $100,000. How many people you need to hit that $1 million? 10 people. Yeah. And let me tell you what, there are people out there getting $100,000 all day long for coaching and mastermind and other stuff like that. And I'm going to say right up front, I've seen some of the people who are getting $100,000 over the years, who've gotten $100,000, $150,000. And I'm going to go back. I'm going to circle back to something I said earlier about one of the best leads I ever had in a sales letter. It's enough to make you want to puke. Because when you look at the people that are charging this and you're like, what in the hell could they be doing that's worth $100,000? And you know what? That's the wrong question to ask. The right question to ask is, what are they offering that makes these people come across with that money? That's what I want to know. What are they offering? What's the offer? What's the messaging? What is it that they have done that, in my opinion of them, is like, I wouldn't pay them to flip a burger for me, but yet somebody else on planet Earth says, you know what? They're worth $100,000 to me. And then you might say to yourself, man, 40 people, 10 people, 500 people, 2,000 people, that's a lot of people. No, it's not. Because if you look at how many people, I don't know how many there are exactly, but let's say there's 7 billion people on planet Earth. All right, I have to turn this thing sideways to be a thing, but let's say you wanted to get 40 people at $20,000. 40 divided by 7, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That's 0.000000057%. That's nobody. That's there's people out there. You just got to know the right message to put in front of people to get them to say yes.
Yeah, and the right avatar where you know they're going to say yes.
Right. Or enough of them. You only need 10. You only need 40. You only need 500. You only need 2,000, 10,000, 34,000. And I'm going to circle back to this one more time. Getting 34,000 people to say yes is actually easy if you can find 10 million of them. But the other thing here that we didn't talk about is the T word. And what's the T word? Time. Because it takes a while. I don't care how good you are. It takes a while to sell 34,000 people. You can sell 10 people, 40 people, 500 people in a week, in a month. That's the other thing. Time. So I'm not sure how we got on this, but this is one of the more interesting discussions you and I have had in a while.
It puts it in perspective because you can look at yourself, and what you just described is, like you said, it all comes back to self-worth. It's all ahead. It's what's between these two ears.
Yep.
Every single time. Because you've got to determine what is my time worth on this planet? Take a macro look. I'm spending and devoting time to something every single day, every single minute or hour that I'm walking this planet to doing something. Do you want to do something that you love, or are you just doing it to make money? You got to ask these questions.
Yeah.
Because if it's just doing it to make money, you're going to find yourself backed into a corner and building a business that you may just despise because of the people that you're attracting to it. Which is why it's so important to figure out who's your audience. Who do you want to attract to you? Not just, is there an audience for what I'm selling, but are they the right people? Because those people are going to make your life wonderful or a crap storm where you're going to find yourself in customer support hell.
Yeah.
And dealing with things that you don't want to do. So how are you going to construct your business? How are you going to design your life? What is your self-worth? How much are you worth an hour? You can go down that road and say, what do I need an hour? What am I worth an hour? Are you worth $20 an hour, $100 an hour? Are you $1,000 an hour, $5,000 an hour? What do you stand for? What do you stand against? What will you do? What will you say? I'm putting my foot down. I will never do this. Yes, Jim.
I don't agree with that, because I used to think, what am I worth an hour?
I'm just saying that.
I know.
Okay.
I'm not attacking you. I'm just giving a different perspective. I'm not saying what you're saying is wrong. Okay, because I used to think about, okay, I'm worth $20 an hour. I'm worth $50 an hour. I'm worth $2,000 an hour. I mean, if you ask me, how much would it cost to hire me for a day? It'd be 25 grand. And I know that yours is around there too. So the two of us together, we talked about the two of us, we're going to come and do something. It'd be 50 grand for a day. So what I'm saying is the value, people want to assign value to time. I would rather assign value to results. So what is the result worth? And a lot of times people discount the results that they're able to create. They're like, oh, everybody can do that, or they discount it. And if you discount it, then the way you carry yourself, the way you message stuff, the way you present yourself, others will perceive that. But if you see the value in the results that you're able to achieve and help other people achieve, then others will be able to see the results. In other words, people are just going to reflect back to you the value that you perceive in what you offer and the results you're able to help people get. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. So let's go along that line. And here's why I said what I said. So if you feel, and I agree with you, what is the value as it equates to and as it relates to results? So let's say you're putting together a mastermind or a coaching program, or you're going to be a consultant. So you could say, in terms of your time, like you said, and in value, I know I can deliver results to somebody. So I can deliver those results, and somebody can hire me as a consultant for $100 an hour. And I'm just, or they could, I'm $10,000 for a consultant to get those same results. How do you see yourself in terms of your self-worth? That's the point I'm making. So you're promising the same result, but it comes back to you, because you see people who, and we see this all the time. Let's go to a massage therapist, where the norm, which is commoditized, massage therapists are charging $75 or $100 for a session. And you're going, you're kidding me. I'll do that all day long for a great massage therapist. If that's
Right.
how you value yourself, why don't you say, I'm going to get out of this and I'm going to charge $500 for a massage therapy session? Then then somebody's seeing whoa, why are they charging 500? I can get one for 100. Well, some people, 20% of that 100% of the people are going to go, there must be some, because they're charging more, there must be something special about them. That's how the human mind works. And
Right.
and then you can say, I'm going to do the 500. They're getting the same result. They're still telling time, Timex or a Rolex, but you've repositioned yourself. You've changed your value in terms of, and I'm using money as this,
Sure.
as the gauge here, that you've increased your value, you've increased your self-worth
Right.
in terms of what you're charging, not in terms of self-esteem. It could
Right.
help, right? So I'm agreeing with you, Jim. I agree.
No, I
with
know,
you.
I know you are,
Okay.
but I have a word of caution. No. Some people say, okay, I'm worth $10,000. I know how to set up this thing. And
I know how
this
to
could be
build
worth
a great funnel, $10,000.
it's $10,000, and it's like the funnels that you build are crap. So there's a point where there's reality has to equal results, which has to equal the value. In other words, just because you say I'm worth $10,000 doesn't mean you're worth $10,000.
I agree.
And I'm not saying you're saying that, but I'm trying to bookend the discussion.
Sure.
And that is, I've seen that. We've seen that. We've made jokes about that with people. We've been making fun of people when they do that, because we know that in reality, the value of what they are charging or saying their worth does not jive with the market, is the point that so make sure that whatever you're claiming makes sense in the market and with your ability to actually deliver. Okay, because just because you say it, just because you claim it, doesn't make it so.
And also perfect example of what you just said. And I'm going to take that and run with it in terms of the market can also determine value. Let's look at real estate.
Yeah.
I mean, it's out of control right now. It's out of control where people are paying. And I just saw this. Somebody's paying they're out in the boondocks of Maine. They're paying $300,000 for a house that typically in a normal market would be worth half that.
Yeah.
Half that.
If.
Yeah.
It's
out in the sticks. It's a 1940s home that needs a ton of rehab. Yeah. It's just from the outside, it is butt ugly. And it's you're going, really? But the perceived value in the buyer's mind is that's worth it to me. So that's where market drives also emotions, right?
Sure. Absolutely. But I'm just that's a great point. And the market does drive it. The market will determine what the value is. Because if they can if someone who's a savvy consumer sees, okay, well, this yokel over here is charging $5,000 and this person over here is charging 500, and it's again, it gets back to commodity.
Mm-hmm.
So I've seen people, you shake your head. It's like, y'all think you're going to get this, but you're not. And then you see other people that are getting it, and then your own prejudices are like, that person's a chucklehead. I knew them way back when. What are they doing? But you're asking the wrong question in that case, because if they're getting it, figure out how they're getting it. Mm. That's the right question.
How are they getting that result?
Right.
What are they doing to command that price tag? What are they doing to get more people to buy into that offer?
Right. What are they thinking? What are they believing?
Right.
That's what you want to get. What's their strategy?
Why are they so persuasive?
Yeah. Cool. Well, hey, this hour went pretty fast. Julio just asked, can you use a newsletter to build value to your audience with relevant value content? It's only worked for me for the last 21 years. So I can't give you a definitive answer, but Julio, if you get my newsletter on Wednesdays and my article of the week on Thursdays, you be the judge of whether that works or not. But I can tell you that a newsletter where you have people on your list is still, as long as you deliver it consistently and it's got value, it's a great way to build a relationship with people over the long term. But it's not a microwave marketing approach. It's a slow cooker approach. So. All right. Well, that was fun. Well, thanks everybody for being here. I hope you enjoyed that. Again, as a quick reminder, keep your eyes peeled. Next Monday, we're going to be sending out the email about our inner circle. You're definitely going to want to be a part of that. We've only got 20 spots. So everybody have a great day. Great job, Dean. And we'll talk to you all next time. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.